The observation deck of the Interstellar Combat Academy hummed with the low vibration of anti-gravity stabilizers as Brian checked his datapad for the third time. The combat simulation was scheduled to begin in 90 seconds, and the human cadet Nyla Harrison stood alone in the center of the training arena, rolling her shoulders with an ease that seemed almost inappropriate given the circumstances. "This is a mistake," growled Zarthen, the Korthian tactical instructor, his 4 amber eyes narrowing at the display. The reptilian officer's scales rippled with what Brian had learned to recognize as deep concern. She requested what for armament? Brian pulled up the equipment manifest on his holographic display. A standard-issue neural disruption baton. Non-lethal. Effective range. Contact only. She declined plasma rifles, kinetic shields, and tactical armor. Across the arena floor, 12 cadets from the Predator Corps Elite Training Program filed into position. Each stood over 7 feet tall, their chitinous exoskeletons gleaming under the harsh lights. The Zaklith were apex predators from a high-gravity world where the weak were consumed before adolescence. Their reflexes operated on timescales that made most species' nervous systems seem glacial by comparison. "Humans," Zarthen muttered, shaking his massive head. "I've read the reports from their homeworld conflicts, but this is madness. The Zaklith have 360-degree vision, reaction times of 0.03 seconds, and exoskeletons that can withstand small arms fire." Brian said nothing, but his fingers tightened on the datapad. He'd been Nyla's academic advisor for 6 months, ever since she'd transferred from Earth's experimental neural interface program. Her test scores were exceptional, but scores meant nothing against talons that could shred titanium alloy. The simulation countdown appeared in the air. 60 seconds. Nyla closed her eyes, and Brian noticed something odd. The subcutaneous biosensors embedded along her temples began to pulse with a faint blue light, the telltale sign of active neural enhancement. The experimental technology that Earth's military researchers had developed allowed for real-time data processing directly through the visual cortex, turning the brain into a quantum computational substrate. 30 seconds. The Zaklith cadets activated their combat protocols. Their movements became synchronized, a hive-mind combat algorithm running through their networked consciousness. They'd fought as a unit for 3 years, dropping opponent after opponent in these simulations. Their win record was 97%. 15 seconds. Nyla's eyes opened. Brian saw something in them that made his breath catch. Not fear, not bravado, but the cold calculation of a chess master seeing 20 moves ahead. The buzzer sounded. What happened next would be analyzed in tactical databases across 7 star systems for the next decade. The Zaklith moved first, their formation splitting into a 3-pronged attack pattern that should have been impossible to counter alone. But Nyla didn't move like someone defending. She moved like water, finding the path of least resistance through stone. The first cadet lunged, talons extended. Nyla's baton swept up in an arc that seemed lazy until it connected with the joint articulation point where the cadet's exoskeleton was weakest. The neural disruptor fired, and the massive alien dropped like a puppet with cut strings, its nervous system temporarily overwhelmed. 0.8 seconds elapsed. The second and third cadets attacked from opposite angles, a pincer move that left no escape route. Nyla dropped low, her enhanced neural processing calculating the exact moment when both attackers would be at maximum extension. She rolled between them, her baton catching each one across the base of their skulls with mechanical precision. 2.1 seconds. Brian watched the readings from Nyla's neural interface spike across his display. Her brain was processing combat data at rates that approached quantum computing thresholds, analyzing attack vectors, predicting movement patterns, and calculating optimal counterstrikes faster than the Zaklith hive mind could coordinate. The remaining 9 cadets shifted tactics, abandoning their practiced formations for a chaotic swarm attack. It was the right decision against any conventional opponent. Nyla had already predicted it. She moved through them like a dancer through scattered leaves, her baton becoming an extension of her enhanced nervous system. Each strike was placed with surgical exactness, never wasted energy, never a moment of hesitation. The neural interface fed her data on muscle tension, center of gravity, electrical impulses in alien nervous systems. She saw not what they were doing, but what they would do 3 moves from now. Cadet 4. Baton strike to the shoulder nerve cluster. Down. Cadet 5. Sweep the legs at the moment of maximum imbalance. Down. Cadets 6 and 7 attack simultaneously from above, using their powerful legs to launch from the arena walls. Nyla's processing speed made them seem as slow as falling rain. She sidestepped, redirecting one into the other with a precisely placed push. Both crashed to the mat, and her baton found their neural clusters before they could rise. 5.6 seconds. The last 4, Hecklith hesitated, and that hesitation was fatal. Nyla closed the distance before their hive mind could recalculate. 4 strikes, each one perfectly placed, each one utilizing the minimum force necessary. 7.2 seconds total. Silence filled the observation deck. 12 Predator Corps cadets lay unconscious on the training mat, their vital signs stable but their pride shattered. Nyla Harrison stood in the center of the arena, her breathing barely elevated, the neural disruption baton hanging loose in her hand. Xarthen's jaw hung open, displaying rows of predatory teeth. That should not be possible. Brian finally found his voice. The human brain has approximately 86 billion neurons. When enhanced with quantum processing interfaces, it becomes one of the most sophisticated combat computers in known space. Combine that with a species that evolved as persistence hunters, and you get something the galaxy hasn't seen before. On the arena floor, Nyla deactivated her neural interface, the blue lights fading from her temples. She looked up at the observation deck and offered a small, tired smile. "The Zaklith fought with honor," she said, her voice carrying through the comm system. "But they fought like predators. Humans learned long ago how to beat predators. We outthink them, we outlast them, and we never, ever fight fair when survival is on the line." Brian saved the simulation data, knowing it would be required reading for every tactical officer in the fleet. The galaxy had just learned an important lesson. Give a human the right tools and the right motivation, and watch them rewrite the rules of engagement. Nyla walked off the mat, leaving 12 unconscious predators and 1 shattered assumption in her wake. That humanity's weakness would make them prey in a galaxy of hunters. They'd forgotten that on Earth, the scariest predator was the one that didn't look dangerous at all. The end.